I feel like Shogo Makishima from Psycho-Pass. I can't believe that we as a people have decided to be a collective instead of individuals. And that's truly what this all is leading up to. Social media, the news, all of it is just trying to turn us all into one. And I get that to a degree, but at the same time, it's fundamentally flawed for multiple reasons. The biggest reason is truly smart people are seen as a nuisance and are not accepted often by society or people at large. And, you know, I see a lot of intelligent people be snuffed out and kind of just go along with the system when in truth they know that the system is flawed. It's happened so many times that I've seen very intelligent people just, fold under the pressure of society. And it's sickening to me, truly. But that's how they built society, you know. They want it to be where we're a collective and we agree on everything. Or if we don't, then you're not a part of the pact. And that often leads to people dumbing down, you know, and it just shows throughout history as well. But throughout 2026, it's becoming a real issue because it's, popping up more and more. And people are letting the system decide who they should be instead of them as an individual finding that out. That's what, college and all these, words like education are really molded into. You know, they're just trying to put people inside of a box. And then they wonder why no one is able to see outside that box. It's a fundamental flaw, and a very obvious one at that. People on a fundamental scale should really just see things for what they are because it's right in front of them. You know, all they want is control. And I'm not talking politics either. I'm just saying society at large. That's all they want is control. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking I'm spewing nonsense, but if you're hearing what I am saying, then you know deep down what I'm saying is true. They built this society on one idea to be a collective, and then they wonder why creativity is at an all-time low. And I'm not talking about stupidity. That's a completely different thing than creativity. Because if you want to find stupidity, you could go on TikTok right now and you can find it. And it's been leading to multiple deaths. But that's not what I'm talking about. On a fundamental level, I'm talking about intelligence and independence. And true creativity comes from that. Not what they want. Not what the algorithm says. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. I do not have a good speech pattern, but that's besides the point. People at large, you know, should wake up instead of being a part of how do I how do I say this? Instead of being a part of the herd, people should value independence instead of squashing it in the name of TikTok and society's standards. Now, we do have standards for a reason, but those who truly feel isolated by it know that there's something wrong with it. On a fundamental level, it is practically and actually fucked. The reason why we're having problems in USA with an all-time low of military recruitments and just creativity in general is because everyone is following one another. It's not really just a USA thing either. It's all over the world. But it's just because people are so simple-minded, they can't stand the fact that they may not be a part of a crew. And history shows that the greatest inventors and minds often operate alone. I'm not saying that we should split up, you know. I'm just saying that we should value autonomy instead of what society says in their, very obvious screwed rules. Because there are those that get away with following the rules, and then there are those who do not. History shows that. I think if you look on the news, crime shows that. It's everywhere, and people really need to wake up to the fundamental truth of society. The way I see it, society is a game that the elites use to empower and embolden the truly stagnant and corruptible. It's fundamentally flawed, and people should wake up from that. I'm not saying that people should break off from morality. I'm just saying that people need to wake up and understand that, you know, the box that they're trying to put us in does not fit who we truly are. And the most intelligent people find that out the hard way. All I'm saying is that, we should value autonomy instead of letting, all these videos dictate who we are, and all these people dictate who we are, and all these so-called leaders dictate what we should become and who we should be. A lot of leaders have a good point, but some of them do not. I'm not talking politics, of course. I'm talking about, companies and just people at large, There are a lot of leaders out there that are trying to lead a revolution, and rightfully so, but they're so often squandered, really, because they don't see the value in themselves, because others try to dictate it for them. And if you allow it, you'll never become who you truly are. I want to be clear so that way people aren't going to twist my words. I'm not saying that we should throw away our humanities or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. And you should, of course, keep your morality at play always in your life. But I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, we really shouldn't let society or social media, if you will, dictate, what we do and who we are. I know a lot of people with me will agree on that, but it's becoming a true issue because there's people on the internet like that go and do some really fucked up things, and no one's stopping them. The authorities aren't stopping them. Nobody's really. There's some good YouTubers out there that are saying stuff about other YouTubers, you know, um, because there's a lot of fucked up people, especially on this platform, that people like Clavicular, for example, um, that are spreading drugs, and this shit, this idea about drugs and everything, and the authorities aren't stopping them. They couldn't care less. Um, you know, the authorities can't stop them because that's how society made it. That's how society is. If a group of people are following them, then a group of people are right, says society, anyways. That's just the truth of the matter. He, in particular, as well with many others on this platform, and within certain groups, are spreading these ideas to our young people, and the authorities are just playing with their dicks, you know? And that's one way to put it. That's a fundamental truth, in my opinion. You know, the authorities can, right now, arrest anyone they want to. There's nothing stopping them. But that's how they built society, right? If they got a following or if they got a group, they truly are immune to a degree. Or, they kind of treat it like it's some kind of experiment. But even the authorities follow certain individuals. And I'm not just talking about him in particular. I'm talking about, like, all these social media people out here, TikTokers and stuff like that. They do the most twisted, insane shit live. And, when the authorities don't say nothing about it or do nothing about it, it's just going to keep spreading. And that's the fundamental truth. Because we can't sit here and lie, It's all over the internet. People say the internet is bad, sure, but why do we have authorities if they don't want to step up, you know, towards these people? If money is a shield, you can do whatever you want, then that right there is a fundamental society flaw. I don't care who you are and who, you think you are. It just is a fundamental flaw. So you're saying, like, they're saying that if I had, I don't know, 10 grand, I went outside and recorded and kicked a puppy on live or something, that it's okay because money is everything. That's what they're telling young people. That's what all these social media leaders, as people put them, as society puts them, they're just immune to it. And I personally say fuck that. The reason why society is so flawed is because they don't see people or as individuals. They see them for what they are not, for tools, you know. They see them as tools, is the way I see it. And if that person has money or resources, is one way to put it, even if they are fucking up society, the authorities, the people that are supposed to be in charge, won't even bat an eye. They couldn't care less how much damage they're doing until they step in front of society and it becomes an issue that they actually have to solve. That's the way I see it. It's such a curse to be intelligent because I can see all of this and I can see what is happening to people. And it's not very hard to figure out. It's something, unfortunately, that is in plain sight that people just refuse to see. They're ignoring it, even though it's right in front of their faces, because they do not want to challenge the system, even though it is destroying humanity. They just don't want to be the ones that talk about it. I, however, do not care. I'll speak on the matter because honestly, I'm not afraid, and I do not care what people think about me. I'm already in the inventor mindset, you know. So I already accept that some things are just fundamentally flawed. That's how I put it. If you disagree with me, with my point of view, let me know in the comment section and I'll debate you. Most likely. Depends on how I'm feeling, honestly. But if you guys really did like this video, which I hope you do, definitely like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll likely see you on the next one. Alright, ciao. If society were ever to judge me, I would honestly find that comical.